Welcome back for another Call of Duty Zombies video. Today, I'll be ranking the top 15 best wonder weapons in Call of Duty Zombies. In this video, I'll only be including World at War up to Black Ops 4, and I will not be including EXO or World War II Zombies because I just don't know shit about those games, and I would prefer to sound like I know what I'm talking about. But feel free to leave a like and comment down below if you have any other video suggestions. But I genuinely think that it's time to cut all the fucking bullshit here, and let's just get right into the video. And starting off with our number 15 spot, I put the original ray gun. The ray gun is the most popular wonder weapon in all of Call of Duty Zombies, and it's been in every single game since the start of World at War all the way up till now in Black Ops 6. It's a very solid wonder weapon up until about round 40 or so, and I'll tell you, this thing is a crawler machine on the higher rounds, and the damage drop off is pretty bad, but for most people this weapon will do the job. The upgraded version is definitely better, but you can only go so far with it until it's fucking worthless on the higher rounds, and I mean it's a lot of fun to use, but I'd say that the ray gun went through a roller coaster of changes as Call of Duty regressed over time, and the ray gun was different on each game, and I'd say that my favorite version was probably the Black Ops 1 version, and I think the worst is probably the Black Ops 3. I feel like that's where the ray gun really just started to fall off for me, and there just became other wonder weapons that I would much rather use, so there was just much better options. But overall, I think the original ray gun is always going to be a classic in Zombies, and there are some better options, so I think that this deserves to be the number 15 spot. And coming in at our number 14 spot, I put the Ray Gun Mark II. So I definitely think that this is a step up, and the Ray Gun Mark II released on Buried in Black Ops 2. The damage is much better, and there is no splash damage, and the thing that I like about this one is that the shots penetrate and can easily take out a crowd using a lot less ammo, and this is one of the most solid wonder weapons that we've had, and I've always loved this thing. And I mean, let's be real, this thing just looks dope as hell, and there's not really much else to say, honestly. I mean, it was really cool that they added this gun across all of the Black Ops 2 maps and Black Ops 3, so you know that it's a fan favorite. But overall, the Ray Gun Mark II is a great wonder weapon, and I think that this deserves to be in the number 14 spot. And coming in at our number 13 spot, I put the Scavenger. I think that this is one of the coolest wonder weapons that we've had in Zombies, and Black Ops 1 was notorious for that. Each map gave us a great wonder weapon, and with this one, you're gonna need PhD because that explosion radius is fucking massive. And this was only on Call of the Dead, so if this was on a map without PhD, it would honestly just be a fucking joke. I think this wonder weapon just looks dope as hell, and it makes a really cool sound when it explodes. And this is great for taking out George and can take out zombies pretty easily, but the damage drop off is absolutely terrible. And I mean, you have until about round 40, but once it hits round 40, this thing just decides to take a huge wet fucking dump. And that's another reason why Call of the Dead is such a hard map. High rounding is nearly impossible when your wonder weapon can't make it past round 40. But overall, I really do like the Scavenger, and I think it's still a great wonder weapon minus the damage drop off. So I think that this deserves to be the number 13 spot. And coming in at our number 12 spot, I put the Paralyzer. The Paralyzer is a very interesting wonder weapon, and I'd say that the best part about it is the fact that it has unlimited ammo, and it just needs to recharge. But it can also be very helpful in other ways, like flying over the debris around the map, or just being able to fly around in general. I thought that was a pretty wild concept. And when upgraded, this is definitely a lot better, and the recharge is much better. But I will say this thing can take a little longer to actually kill the zombies sometimes, so if you run out of ammo, you're going to need to wait a bit to use it, or else it won't really do anything. But this was only on Buried, so it's special to this map, and I think that overall it fits in perfectly within the map, and I don't think that the Paralyzer is really the best wonder weapon, but it is a lot of fun to use and definitely a really good wonder weapon, so I think that this deserves to be the number 12 spot. And coming in at our number 11 spot, I put the KT-4. I'm honestly a really big fan of this wonder weapon. and I think that the KT4 is a great weapon. It just takes some time trying to get it. And the biggest shit stain about it is that fucking upgrade process. You gotta water some plant hidden behind a wall after you mesmerize the wall with the specialist weapon, which getting that is a process on its own. And then you gotta swim like a mile underwater 3 rounds in a row just to water a fucking plant. And don't even get me started on the rainbow water step. I mean, once you know how to do it, it's not that bad, but I can't even imagine being the guy to figure that shit out. But once you finally get this thing, it is all worth the bullshit. And the KT4 gives you a special boost when you shoot it, and it can really help with the Easter egg and training. The upgraded version is definitely better, and the ammo isn't bad. It's not the strongest wonder weapon, but this will definitely do well in the mid to higher rounds, and there's no crazy damage drop off as far as I know. I think that this is one of the coolest wonder weapons that we've had in Zombies, and I'm a huge fan. So overall, I think that the KT4 is a great wonder weapon, and I think that this deserves to be in the number 11 spot. And coming in at our number 10 spot, I put the Sickle-Fire. The Sickle-Fire came out on Die Rise and Black Ops 2. And this might be in a debatable spot for it, but I'm having a hard time ranking this because I personally really like this thing, and the pre-patched version was overpowered, but depending on how quickly you can build it, it can definitely be a pain in the ass to get, especially since there's so many doors to buy and all the tight hallways where all the parts are located. Or sometimes you can luck out and it can be pretty easy, but once you have it though, it's worth all the horseshit that you may have endured trying to get this. And something about this wonder weapon is just so satisfying to me, and I guess I just really think that it's cool. It may not have been the best, or the strongest, or even on a fan favorite map, but it's easily one of the coolest wonder weapons I've seen, and I'm a really big fan. It has enough ammo to get you by, and I will say you gotta be careful using this thing near a ledge, or you definitely will slide right off the map. And so overall, I'm mostly ranking the pre-patched version because it was a lot better, but I really do enjoy using this wonder weapon, and I think that this deserves to be in the number 10 spot. And coming in at our number 9 spot, I put the Ray Gun Mark III. This came out on Gorod Krovi in Black Ops 3, and seeing this release for the first time had my dogs barking. I was a huge fan of this wonder weapon, and to this day it still holds up. It's best for killing boss zombies and has great ammo. This version of the ray gun was a dual wield version, and the right one was the actual ray gun part, and the left side was some sort of yellow fart cloud that when shot by the ray gun it turned into a black hole. And let me just say, that is an awesome concept for a wonder weapon, and they absolutely cooked with this one. And the Mark III, also like the Mark II, tears right through the zombies and does a lot of damage on the lower to mid rounds. I will say, unfortunately, this thing has a damage drop off, and I believe that it's about round 50 or so, but I do think that this is a challenging map, so that doesn't really help. But overall, I'm really a huge fan of this wonder weapon, and it's a lot of fun to use, so I think that this deserves to be the number 9 spot. And coming in at our number 8 spot, I put the gauntlets from Ancient Evil. So I'm just going to be ranking these all within the same spot, just to make things easier. And you guys know me at this point with Black Ops 4, I'm not a big fan, but Ancient Evil does not apply to that. I actually love this map, and I think that it's the best map on this game, mostly for the gauntlets. These things are just so much fun to use, and when I played this game, I always got the Hand of Gaia, which is the Earth one and is really cool. But there's also the Hands of Charon, Oranos, and Hermera. If I chop those up, my bad. They all do well in the damage category, but the biggest piss puddle of all is that fucking ammo count. On the higher rounds, it feels like you fly through ammo, especially with the spawn rate of the zombies and the bosses in this game, and upgrading them can be such a pain in the ass. But overall, I really enjoy using these things, and I'm a huge fan, so I think that this deserves to be the number 8 spot. And coming in at our number 7 spot, I put the Baby Gun. So I'm honestly not a huge fan of Shangri-La, but this wonder weapon definitely needs to be recognized. I think that this is one of the only wonder weapons that does infinite damage, but let me tell you, you're gonna be taking damage using this shit it really is a great wonder weapon, but this can be one of the hardest ones to use. So pretty much you gotta shoot the zombies and then they turn into babies and then you just run right into them and then they just die and fling to the side. It's really cool actually, but my only issue is when you run into the zombies to kill them, you have a pretty big chance of getting caught up on a zombie or taking extra hits just trying to get a kill. But maybe I'm just ass, maybe I'm the problem. But overall, I think the BB gun is a great wonder weapon. It's a lot of fun to use, probably one of the most fun to use wonder weapons we've ever had. And it does well in high rounds, so I think that this deserves to be in the number 7 spot. And coming in at our number 6 spot, I put the Zap Gun / Wave Gun. So, like I've said earlier, Black Ops 1 had some of the greatest wonder weapons that we've had, and the Zap Gun's released on Moon in Black Ops 1. This was another innovative concept, a dual-wield set of Zap Guns that you can combine into something completely different. And there wasn't a dog shit ass upgrade process you had to do, you can simply just put it right into the Pack-a-Punch machine. This is another wonder weapon that is a lot of fun to use, and it felt a lot different from all the other wonder weapons that we had at the time. And don't get me wrong, I love the Zap Guns, but they are honestly not that strong on the mid to higher rounds. But the combined version, the Wave Gun, that's where this wonder weapon shines. It doesn't have the most ammo, but man, this thing does some damage. And this is the part of the gun that's going to get you up to those higher rounds. It has a really weird splash damage radius, but it'll take out a whole train of zombies in one shot. Oh yeah, and I haven't even gotten to the part where all the zombies get all big and puffy and explode. It was such a cool idea, and this wonder weapon fits in perfectly with Moon. And I'm just a really big fan overall, so I think that this deserves to be in the number 6 spot. And coming in at our number 5 spot, I put the Wunderwaffe. This thing was first introduced on Shinonuma in World at War, and the Wunderwaffe was our first real wonder weapon besides the ray gun, and this was the first weapon to get you up to those higher rounds with no problem. And the Wunderwaffe was brought back on Black Ops 1, being a power-up from killing George after completing the Easter egg on Call of the Dead, and then it was later added onto the Giant with a few of the other Chronicle maps from Black Ops 3. The ammo count isn't too bad, and I believe this thing can only kill up to 10 zombies per shot, which isn't the worst, but this thing does infinite damage, so depending on the game, you can get up to whatever round you want. That's how good this thing is. And I also really like the concept of this wonder weapon, and the way that it just kills zombies, it's just so satisfying. But I'll be honest, this thing fucking sucks balls on the World at War version of Der Riese, mostly because of the jug glitch, but on any other map, the Wunderwaffe is one of the greatest wonder weapons that we've had, so I think that this deserves to be the number 5 spot. And coming in at our number 4 spot, I put the Thundergun. And once again, Black Ops 1 pulling out another amazing wonder weapon. The Thundergun was introduced back on Kino in Black Ops 1. Using this wonder weapon made you feel like you had the fattest set of nuts, and this was one of the most classic wonder weapons that we've had in zombies. And I think we can all agree that this is a great wonder weapon, and they even brought it back on Ascension, and then we saw it again on Revelations and the Black Ops 3 version of Noct. This thing does some serious damage. It'll clear out a whole path for you, and when upgraded, the Thundergun has 4 shots and a decent amount of ammo. It's enough to get you by. This thing will do really good in the higher rounds, and at a certain point it does become a 2-shot, but it is really a great wonder weapon, and I don't really have much else to say. And I think that this is one of the coolest wonder weapons that we've had in zombies. And once again, this just looks really cool and will always be a fan favorite. But overall, the Thundergun is an amazing wonder weapon, and I think that this deserves to be the number 4 spot. And coming in at our number 3 spot, I put the staffs from Origins. The Elemental staffs released on Origins on Black Ops 2. These are personally some of my favorite wonder weapons, and once again, I'm just ranking these all as one just to make things easier, but I think that all 4 staffs are worth using. You got Ice, Fire, Lightning, and Wind. And unfortunately, the Wind staff is a 2-shot on round 23, and it barely has enough ammo. And the single shots with the staffs are good, but the charge shots are mostly what I like about the staffs. And that's what's going to get you up to the higher rounds. And there was multiple features that you can use with these staffs that make them very unique. Like the revive shots on the other end of the staff. Not that anyone ever used them, but it's still good to know that that's there. And I'd say that Fire is probably the most popular staff, and that's probably the strongest one that's going to get you up to the higher rounds, and it does well taking out Panzers. but my personal favorite is probably the Lightning. I just like having more ammo and I just really enjoy using it. But they are all very good, and these things are so much fun to use. And I think that these are some of the best wonder weapons that we have ever gotten. So overall, I think that these deserve to be in the number 3 spot. And coming in at our number 2 spot, I put the Apothicon Servant. This wonder weapon was first introduced on Shadows of Evil on Black Ops 3, and was brought back on Revelations along with the Thunder Gun. And I'm sure that some of you might be wondering why isn't this at number 1? But for me, the ammo count is just horrendous, and you have 10 shots with this thing and that's it. And I think when upgraded it might have a little bit more ammo, but it's still just not enough. And as far as damage, this is by far the best wonder weapon in zombies. It will kill infinitely and will save you in any kind of pinch. I really enjoy using this wonder weapon. It's literally like an alien that shoots black holes. And once again, another really cool concept. And this will easily take out a whole train of zombies in one shot, but you only have 10 of them, so you better make them fucking count. But overall, this is debatably the best wonder weapon in zombies, but I think that there's one left that outshines it, so I think that this deserves to be in the number 2 spot. And before we get to our number 1 spot, I'd like to shout out an honorable mention to the Alistair's Folly, or whatever the fuck it's called. I will say this is probably the most underrated wonder weapon in all of zombies. Probably because it's on the map that most people don't even know or care about. This gun is honestly amazing, and I'm mostly just talking about the base version because the upgrade step can just kiss my fucking ass, and I mean it. The upgrade steps are very annoying, but definitely worth all the bullshit. And it does all kinds of elemental jazz and such, and using this wonder weapon feels very satisfying, and I'm a huge fan. So overall, I think that this is a great wonder weapon, and I think it at least deserved to be in the video. And finally coming in at our number 1 spot, I put the bows from Dreisendrach. I think that the bows are the best wonder weapons that we have in all of zombies, my personal opinion, and mostly for how much fun they are to use and the abilities that these bows have. They do great damage and can easily get you up to the higher rounds. The ammo isn't bad, and I think that the upgrade quests are honestly a lot of fun on this map, and it all fits in perfectly, and they really help out with the boss fight, and overall are just a lot of fun to use. There's the Wolf, Void, Lightning, and Fire bows, and me personally, I like using the Void bow, and the single shots do decent damage, but the charge shots are where it's at, doing a lot of damage. I think each bow is worth using and can take out crowds of zombies pretty easily. And I think that we can all agree that the bows are a fan favorite, and I can see why you would disagree and put the Apothicon Servant at number 1, but once again, this is just my personal opinion, and I think that these deserve to be the number 1 spot. But that's where I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.